Good evening. My name is Teleshevsky, and I moved to the United States in the middle of 9th grade. When I just moved here, I did not know much about the United States curriculum and how the education system worked, so I relied on my guidance counselor to choose classes for me. And that resulted in me only being placed in core curriculum classes and not even knowing about extracurriculars. One time I was sitting in study hall and I saw my friend doing some very interesting work on some science journal article. I asked him about it, and that's how I was introduced to science research. I tried to get into the science research class, but I was told that it's already too late and that I should have joined the class at the beginning of the year. But I wasn't in the United States in the beginning of the year. So I kept trying to persuade them to add me to the class, and eventually I was added to the class. Now, when I just joined, Mr. Baltakis seemed very strict to me. However, he was also very understanding and allowed me to try and catch up, and gave me a lot of assistance. And by the end of the year, by the end of 9th grade, I've already managed to catch up with all the other students and make up the year that I've missed. Going into the summer of the end of between 9th and 10th grade, I was very concerned because I would have had to do 25 hours of summer work, and I've never done that much summer work before in my life. So I did not know what I was going to do and what work I was going to do because there were no guidelines. I could do any science work that I wanted to. So I was looking and I found my interest in learning the programming language called R, which allowed to evaluate large amounts of data and works with data science. And that is actually very useful in the science research field because it allows you to evaluate mass amounts of data, which is often the data that you would be given as part of your project from your science mentor. Going into 10th grade, I knew that my passion in science would be physics, so I started searching throughout the physics field into what subcategory I would focus on. At first, I focused on astronomy, and I wrote a paper about it in 10th grade, and I wrote a paper about it in 10th grade. However, by the end of 10th grade, I found my field of interest to be renewable energy and energy harvesting. And I managed to find a very nice mentor that lived all the way in Scotland. And this mentor helped me over the summer to do my research project by meeting with me via Zoom online. Over the summer, I did research on thermoelectric energy harvesting, and I created a project on it. The thermoelectric energy harvesting was harvesting from underwater vents to power a tsunami detection system. I ended up competing in competitions throughout 11th grade, and I won the Engineering of Tomorrow competition in Westaf and got 3rd place in the International Genius Olympiad competition. At the end of 11th grade, I knew that I would want to keep doing energy harvesting, and I came up with a pretty good idea that was that most ways for a home to achieve zero energy requirement, which would mean that it would produce its own energy, is to use solar panels and energy from the sun. However, in many locations where it's cloudy and rainy, that solar energy is not very efficient and often is unavailable because the rain would ruin the solar panels. So I came up with an idea to replace the solar panels in this area with energy harvesting from the rainwater that is very common in these locations. And that would involve me harvesting energy from the water going down the rain gutters. Now, I came up with the idea and I did research on the idea. However, I ran into some obstacles because my mentor happened to go on vacation throughout the entire summer, which I was unaware of. So I only started doing my research at the end of the summer. And so I had to come into class telling Mr. Baltakis that I have not done much research, and that was very disappointing for both of us. However, I kept working since the beginning of the school year, and I've done a very big progress, and I'm currently working at building my final product and testing and then writing a research paper about it. Thank you very much.
So as you can see, one of the things we are is brutally honest.